If you feel like your low register is not great on the trumpet, there's a good chance you're avoiding it altogether, which wouldn't necessarily be a problem, except avoiding working on the low register is a surefire way to make sure that it doesn't get any better. And here's the thing, a lot of trumpet players focus on upper register and trying to play higher and higher, but having a weak low register creates a lot of problems as well. If you're serious about pursuing a career in music and you don't have a strong low register, this is going to add a lot of stress to your performances because it's not reliable, and it's definitely going to hold you back when you're in auditions. Even if you're not going to be a pro trumpet player and you're just trying to make the most of what you have and trying to enjoy it as much as you can, not being able to play in the low register is not going to be enjoyable, and it's going to mean you have to skip some music that you might want to play. Scales and other drills are really helpful, and I do these in my practice all the time. But the problem with that is they just get kind of stale and boring really quickly, doing the same things over and over again. That's why I'm a really big fan of an etude book like Phil Snedecor's Low Etudes for Trumpet. This etude book has a ton of etudes in it that allow you to explore the low register in a musical context, which means it's more interesting, it's more fun, and you get more context about how your low playing is feeling. Because honestly, for me, there are times where I do some of those scales and some of those drills, like the first page of Phil Snedecor's Low Etude book. Some days it feels terrible for me, and I think, oh my gosh, am I getting worse? What's going on? But then when I get it into a musical context where some of it's in the low register, other parts aren't, and I'm focusing more on the musical phrase and the sound I'm trying to create, I play better, and I think to myself, everything's okay. It was just not the best day for me on low register. I wanted to share with you one of the etudes that I love to play from this book, etude number 7. This is going to be in one take. I'm not going to do any edits, so this isn't 100% perfect, but for me, that's not the point. The point of this is having an opportunity to explore the low register and then the joy of getting to dig in and figure out how can I do this more and more consistently over time. After I play this etude, I'm going to come back afterwards and share 3 tips that I think are helpful for you to think about when you're trying to navigate these etudes to find more success. If you're interested to know how I practice this etude from an organizational standpoint, I'd encourage you to click the link down below and join my Skool community. That's free, and inside of my community, you will see a free masterclass for the Gold Method of Practice Organization, which is my method of organization that I use and I teach my clients so that we can get organized and see consistency. Without any further ado, here is Snedecor Low Etude number 7. The first tip I have for you is to make sure you're not dropping your jaw when you play in the low register. It's really easy to do this because it works. When you drop your jaw, things open up and it's really easy to just blast away, play really full and big and loud, but you lose a lot of flexibility going from the low to the middle and upper registers, which makes it so you've limited yourself quite a bit on the music that you can play. Instead, what you want to do is you want to try to make sure that your, quote, form in terms of the focus of your embouchure and things like that is the same, or as much the same as possible from the middle register down to the low register. So you're not changing too many things. You're learning to do it with focus rather than dropping the jaw. The second tip I have for you is to try not to force the low register. You want to give your chops time to figure out how to center down there and how to play focus. So it might take a second, but what you want to focus on is how do I keep the sound the same in terms of quality in the middle and the upper registers as in the lower register. The third tip I have for you, and it's the most obvious maybe, and the most important one, is to make sure you're playing musically when you play these. As trumpet players, we often tend to think very technically about things when we're trying to fix something, and I think there's a place for that. I actually think those scales and those drills are a really great place to work on how you're approaching the low register. But when you're playing these etudes, you want to zoom out a little bit and make sure that you're trying to put those skills into a musical context so you can see how they're working when you're trying to sing and play with a beautiful sound and make phrases. Earlier, when I was talking about tip number 1, I talked about trying to keep things more the same in terms of focus and not dropping your jaw. I actually did an interview with Tony Prisk, second trumpet with the Philadelphia Orchestra, and he gave a really great exercise that has helped me quite a bit in refining my ability to get into the low register in a healthy way. So if you haven't seen that video and you want to check it out, go ahead and click the link on the screen, and we will see you in the next video.